Hello and welcome to today's video. For this one I'm going to be taking a look at the Supernova Wing Zero Custom in their alternative Snow White colours. So let's just get started and have a look at everything that this kit comes with, and that's a lot. Okay, so you have your mobile suit itself. We then have the iconic double buster rifle, two purple beam sabers. You get some stand adapters for use with the main weapon when you've got it in its full mode. You get some small sections here just to hold on to the weapons in the hands, just to make it extra secure. You have the Zeref unit with a nice bit of mobility on this. Then have one of the other adapters for use with attaching the unit with the buster rifle. And then you have your multiple hands here, and then we have the main bit of the wings. So let's have a look at the articulation on this one now. Okay, so let's start off with the head. So back and down, and then it will turn all the way around. Just be careful of the V-fin, it's quite sharp as you often get with the Supernova kits, so it's definitely one just to be careful of. Now onto the shoulders. So these will pivot down a bit. So this is definitely going to help with getting some poses in as well. Has full rotation all the way around. Arm lifts up just about parallel, and then the elbow bend is quite solid. This also has some little gimmicks on the shoulders, so section here, I just lift up and then lift up here, and that just flares it out. And then on the forearm itself you can just lift this out, push that down just to spread it out a little bit more. Then that just tucks away. Onto the chest, so just take a look. So for the Vulcans, it just slides out and lifts up, and then just locks back in. Same on the other side. And then you have the hatch on the front that just slides out, just enough to see inside, and pushes back in. And then for movement side to side, you don't have a great deal, but you have just enough. Would like a little bit more, but with the weight of the backpack on this, you can definitely see why it's a little bit more sort of sturdy. The lean back is actually not that bad, but then again it's quite steady kit. And then forward quite a bit as well. And onto the waist. So this will not rotate all the way around, but that's quite a good thing really. It's got just enough to get your poses, but not as enough to go all the way around. So then onto the skirting, just on a little ball joint, just nice simple on the side. On here you can actually rotate these ones up and out of the way a little bit as well, and these flick out a little bit more. They should stay a bit further down, but because of how it is they tend to lift up a little bit. And then on the back it's just same as on the front, lifts out just like that. And you see the hole there, that can be covered up with an extra piece, but that is also for use for attaching the Seraphim unit. Right, so let's go on to the legs. So start off with the arse, so bend up and then lift this back and out to the back. So out to the back is really good, and that's a lot more than you'd get on most kits. And so then, because you can lift this out of the way, you can get pretty much the splits out of this kit as well. The leg won't rotate all the way around, it will get caught just for the nature of how this is, and sometimes some of the parts like to separate a little bit, but it doesn't tend to fall apart too much on this one. I've not had it have any big issues at all so far. And then onto the knee bend, so bit of separation there, and you get that much, which is not bad at all. And then locks back in. Onto the ankles, so you've got a ball joint on the top of the foot and then on the bottom of the joint, so you can get quite a bit out to the side and a bit of rotation in and out, and then you can see, get it just to push all the way down. There isn't any actual other movement in the toes, which is a bit of a shame, but at least it helps with staying stationary. And then on the front, bit of armour just lifts up and down, and then on the back you have the little wing thruster here, and you've got another little bit which just pops out. Now I'm going to take a look at the Seraphim unit. So nice solid build on this one, and you have your adapter which plugs in to the back of the skirting, and so for some of the articulation you have movement out and then back in, goes quite far, just a nice varied amount, and then you have movement up. We'll just take these off actually, it makes it a bit easier. So lift it up slightly and then down, and then you have rotation here. And that is it for the movement on both sides. And then for the actual Seraphim units themselves, you have your sort of little catch here which you can keep in. This is for connecting it on, and then you can fold that out of the way and then bring the handle out for its rifle form. And then these just connect together through here, and then these will just connect on down here, so just flip this out and then that just slips in and slides in. And then for the back you have just the slot on here, and you can just push that into the peg here, just like that. Okay, so here we have the big part of this kit. These wings are very much like the ones you get on the metal build. So they're very articulated. They can be a bit finicky. I won't go into all of the parts of this just because it will take probably longer to go through the wings than the rest of the kit. But you have got quite good articulation on the top. You can move it all the way around. The wings will spin all the way around. Let's move these out of the way. Then you have movement in and movement out. It's quite solid. It's not going to go anywhere. There's no up or down movement on here, which is probably a good thing because you don't want it to be swinging down when you're trying to pose it. And then for the actual breakout on this, most of this section all just comes out, and then wings, yeah, as I say, it can be a little bit finicky at times. One of those ones where sometimes I've been thinking about gluing the parts into place, but I'll probably save that for another time. And then the sections here all split out, and then opens up again here. So as you can see, it's a very dynamic looking wing. Then just move on to the smaller wings. So these ones I really like as well. So these ones can open all the way out, and then you can just pull out the feathers here, and that just gives it another little bit of a look there. And then just like that. Really actually like how these ones look. Gives a nice bit when you're posing. Then just push these back in, close it back down, movement quite high up there, all the way down, rotates all the way around, and then side to side, but just to there, so you can't cross over the wings. And then inside the wings themselves, you have your beam sabers tucked away. Okay, so the last couple bits to look at from the main kit itself is you get this really nice stand with the wing effects, and then you have the base adapter, which I've just left in the top here, and then there is the double buster rifle here. I really enjoy how they colour separate a lot of their kits from Supernova. You have the green stickers in there. I think it does come with some sort of I think they're purple in there normally, so purple plastic, so if you prefer that you can keep with that. I just wanted to go with the green just because it made it look a little bit more accurate and gave it more of a bit of a colour separated look to it. And so with this you can separate it all out. It is quite a strong connection, so it's and then you've got your grip which will fold in and out of the way and come back out, and then you have these sections here which just fold and tuck in, and that gives you your single beam rifle mode. And then you have this little peg, so that is just for connecting the two parts together. Okay, so here's how you like to see it. Wings on, Seraphim unit attached on its action base. It's definitely recommended to actually keep it on the base whenever you're trying to display it. I do find the wings from their size are really heavy. You can use the back smaller wings to help hold itself up, but if you want to have any dynamic posing, you really need just to stick that on the base, and I think it looks so much better with it on there. So as you can see, the back wings here, when you actually extend them all the way up, they go back quite far. You just see just how big they really are. So just going to go and take a look at how it is with the weapons now. So I will be back in a moment. I'll just attach up some buster rifles. Okay, so I've got it equipped with the buster rifle. So holding the buster rifle in its hands by itself is not a good idea. It is very flimsy and it will want to fall out of the hand. But what this kit does provide you with is some nice little adapters. So these just connect into the weapon itself and then under the arm, and then that just allows the weapon to be held really nicely and very secure. And being in clear plastic, it's hard to actually notice them. And anything which makes it easier to hold the weapon at any pose, I think is a really good idea. One of those things I think other kits should actually come with just to support weapons. It really helps and makes the overall effect of posing so much more enjoyable. Onto the Zig Weapons here. So these, I'm not going to equip it onto the mobile suit itself, just because these are probably the worst part of this kit. They're very flimsy and they don't like to stay on, mainly because of the connection joint on them. So you actually flip this out, and how you actually connect it on, as the others will fall off, is you push them in here and then slide it out, and then up there. Problem is, as you push it in, it pushes this back. So it's very hard to get a nice clear connection without a little bit of sanding, and just maybe cutting down the joint or opening up this gap a little bit. But this isn't really, you're not going to really want to be displaying it, firing these by themselves too often. I think it looks a whole lot better when you actually have them equipped on the Buster rifle, and I'll just go through and do that now. Okay, so here we have it equipped onto the model. You can definitely get a lot more dynamic poses than this with various positioning. You can have it very much outstretched. As you see, this will support the weight, especially with the added benefit of having the supporting joint holding the weapon arm. So it is just a massive weapon. and a massive cannon, best befitting the Wing Custom. I'm just going to leave up a few more pictures of it in various poses with its wings out, fully displayed, and I hope you enjoy it. Okay, so there you have it. This is a mega kit. I just love it so much. It's definitely one of the centerpieces to my display, especially for the Wing era of kits. With what you get with this, it is just amazing. I like the recoloring on this one. I know it's quite easy, you could have just repainted the original, but I just think this just looks very smart. You do also get a lot of extra parts with this kit, which I haven't shown you, but you can pretty much change up the colors. You can have enough to turn the torso completely purple, and same with many of the other sort of parts of the armor, which is just quite nice, and you can make it a bit more unique and a bit more befitting yourself and just how you want it to look. So my general thoughts on this kit is fantastic articulation, the actual overall aesthetics fantastic, weapons and everything else for the most part are brilliant. I would say though that they are a bit weak in areas, and you really do need to use the adapters it comes with to help hold the weapons up. It's something that saves it long term, because the last thing you want is for it to be holding the Buster rifle, it to drop down and then just to snap, or something else to happen to the actual hand joint. Good thing is it's the same hands as on the heavy arms I did as well, so you can actually equip the twin Gatlings as well if you really want to. So there's a lot of options with these. The main actual body and the mobile suit itself is brilliant. There aren't really any issues. Worst bit is definitely the finickiness of the wings. I would say is probably the worst part. They do tend to fall apart a little bit, especially a couple of the inside feathers. So I would recommend gluing some of those sections in place just to make it a little bit easier going forward, and especially if it saves you a lot of time in actually putting it back together, especially when you're doing any big poses. So there you have it. So thanks very much for watching, and see you next time.